Hello everyone, my name is James with the Welding Academy. Today we're going to talk a little bit about being a plant hand, the money that you can make, the education and training that you're going to need, the dangers associated with this career path, and the job market also. How hard or how easy it is to get a job in this market. So this can be quite difficult to break into, starting your network out. But it's one of those situations where you break in and you get your foot in the door and all of a sudden this spider web network is going to open up in front of you. You meet people on the first job and then they know people on the next job and then the next job and the next job, and it very, very rapidly you build this network of people across the country who are working in these plants. Think about how many plants there are across this country. Food grade, rubber plants, paper mills, power plants. There's thousands, millions, I don't know how many, there's a lot. There's plants everywhere. So the work is there and all those plants are wearing and tearing 24/7. So they're going to shut them down and someone's going to be in there working on them, making money. For me to get my foot in the doors, I started in a shop many years ago and I worked in a shop for a few years and I realized that really wasn't for me. I needed to do something else. So I busted out and I went back to school myself in West Tennessee to learn how to weld pipe. I knew pipe was the direction that I needed to go to make the money that I wanted to make. Once I got into that school, that's kind of started my network. That was my little tiny foot in the door. That's what got me going. The physical and mental dangers of this job, the dangers of this job they're quite immense. You've got guys out here from all over the country, all slammed in here together, working long hours, long days. The guy's next to you, maybe he's not running on all 8 cylinders. That happens pretty often. It's a plant. I mean, there's rigging going on, there's equipment moving, there's things picking and swinging and cranes and fire dangers, and the dangers are literally endless, and we just do everything you can to alleviate those as best as possible and try to go home safe at the end of the day. So being away from family is stressful. It can be very difficult. I've seen it, several times myself. Away from family, and there's strains on relationships, and that's in your head when you go to work, and you have to keep your head in the job. You got to be here and present now, and the exhaustion aspect of it, you work these long hours and things can get repetitive a lot of times on job sites, and that sort of thing can catch up with you. Is the money worth that risk? We're in this trade to make a living. At the end of the day, I hate to say it, we're not in this trade because we just love to get up and go work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're in this trade to give ourselves and our families a good life. So that's why we do it. That's why we go and do these really dangerous jobs in some really dangerous places, and we make a lot of money doing it. What education and training do you need to become a plant hand? The education and training that I needed is I started in a shop, like I said, and got to welding and going in there, but I needed more. So I went back to school, and through the experience that I did get, I went back to school, learned how to weld pipe, and the school and my instructor at the school was my foot in the door to start breaking out and getting into making my own network and getting my first out there, I'll say, job. And without him, I would not be standing here where I'm at today. That's a fact. Jump in anywhere you can get your foot in the door and never stop looking for the next step on that ladder. That's a mistake that I made early on. I got comfortable at one place and I stayed there much longer. And I learned a lot of good things there, make no mistake, but I should have been growing much earlier on in my career. Throughout my career in this trade, from not just a plant hand, but a shop guy all the way through teaching, I've ranged from $10 an hour to $100 as I was a contract instructor in Kentucky, and they were paying me about $100 an hour. That's my range of money. So to put a dollar amount on this trade is extremely difficult. I know the pipeline world, they get into a whole nother realm of money there. There's a lot to be made. Get your foot in at the bottom of it, anywhere you can get your foot. If you can get your foot in the upper portions of that money, fantastic. But if you just get in anywhere you can get in and start growing, and start digging and start learning and never stop climbing. Things to affect pay will be location, of course, where you're located. There's a guy, I know he's up in the Pacific Northeast now, I think hourly, he's at 67 an hour, and there's tons of benefits behind that. What you're doing will vary that money greatly. If you're working in a shop somewhere, you're not going to make as much money. If you're a MIG guy, you're not going to make as much money. If you're doing specialty welding for a specialty company, you're going to go on up. The need, how bad do they need you? The job I just came off of, we were making very, very good money, and it was because they needed hands and they just couldn't get enough people in there. So they kept bumping our pay up, and that was my last bring home paycheck was $34.43 before I walked out of there and came out here to build a new generation, a better generation. If you think this is the right route for you, I attended trade school myself. 13 years I've been digging and trying to get better and more in this trade. Come to Western Welding Academy. We're the best trade school in the nation, hands down. Our experience and background speaks for itself, and we are here to build a better generation. Come be a part of it.